Surveillance cameras are installed to keep us safe, but sometimes they capture scenes like unbelievable supernatural events or chilling crimes caught in the act. These cameras reveal the darker side of life. You won't believe what has been recorded when people weren't looking. Here are the 20 shocking things caught on surveillance cameras. Number 20, vanished into thin air. And at number 20, we've got one of the most bizarre moments of all. In July 2014, airport cameras in Bulgaria captured Lars Mitank, a regular traveler, walking through the airport with his luggage. At first, everything seemed normal, but suddenly, Lars bolted out of the airport, leaving his bags behind, running as if something was after him. People around him didn't think much of it. After all, airports are busy places, and it's not uncommon to see someone in a hurry. However, what happened next was truly bizarre. Footage showed Lars sprinting into a nearby forest, and shockingly, that was the last time anyone saw him. Later, it was revealed that Lars had gotten into a fight the night before with some men. The fight was intense, and he was hit on the head, leaving him with a severe injury. Some people think this head injury may have affected his mental state. Since no one was chasing him in the footage, it's believed that his mind was playing tricks on him, making him flee from imaginary dangers. What makes this case even more mysterious is that Lars remains missing to this day. It's been over 10 years, and no one knows what happened to him. Some think he might still be out there, struggling to remember who he is, while others believe something more tragic might have occurred. Number 19. Home assault. What's even more tragic is what happened on the morning of June 21st, 2013. An ordinary day in Milburn, New Jersey, quickly turned into a nightmare for one family. At around 10 a.m., Sean Custis, a 42-year-old man with a history of criminal behavior, forced his way into the home of a mother and her two young children. What happened next was nothing short of horrifying, and it was all captured on the family's home security camera. Custis brutally attacked the woman while her young daughter sat frozen in fear on a nearby couch. The mother, conscious of her daughter's presence, tried to remain as quiet as possible, fearing that if she screamed, her daughter would also panic and possibly be harmed. Her 18-month-old son, sleeping upstairs, was mercifully unaware of the chaos unfolding below. The security footage captured Custis repeatedly punching the woman in the face, throwing her to the ground, and viciously kicking her. He even threw her down a flight of stairs in what can only be described as a brutal and unprovoked assault. Fortunately, he did not harm her children, but the trauma of witnessing the attack will likely stay with them for years to come. Once Custis fled the scene with an undisclosed amount of jewelry, the mother gathered the strength to go upstairs, retrieve her son, and comfort both her children while waiting for the police to arrive. Despite the physical injuries she sustained, a concussion, chipped teeth, and damage to her face and legs, her primary concern remained her children's safety. She was later treated at a local hospital. The footage from the nanny cam was instrumental in bringing Custis to justice. Authorities launched a manhunt, and with the help of the FBI Fugitive Task Force, Custis was arrested in New York City. He was charged with multiple serious offenses, including attempted murder, robbery, burglary, aggravated assault, and endangering the welfare of a child. Number 18. A horse walked into a bar. Luckily, this next one would be part of a child's wildest dream, because it sounds exactly like the punchline of a joke, but this was all too real. At a sports betting bar in France, customers got an unexpected visit from a racehorse.
Video captured a wild scene in Chantilly, north of Paris last month. Customers scattered as a young horse ran to the rear of the bar.
The horse had escaped from the nearby Chantilly racecourse after throwing its rider off. In its wild dash, it ended up inside the bar, leaving everyone in shock. Captured on the bar's security cameras, the young horse made a run for the betting corner, kicking furniture and causing chaos along the way. Customers were caught off guard, but thankfully, no one was injured, including the horse. The bizarre incident left many stunned and scrambling to get out of its way. While the horse may have lost its race that day, it certainly left its mark on the bar, giving everyone there a story they won't soon forget. Number 17. Mysterious creatures. You would also never forget it if you saw something paranormal. And in late 2022, surveillance footage captured something that might blow some minds. It started as an ordinary night, but things quickly took a bizarre turn when two strange figures appeared on the footage. These figures moved through the scene in a way that was eerie and unsettling. Their appearance? Hard to describe, almost like creatures from another world. Some think they might be ghosts. Others suggest skinwalkers, while many are simply left baffled. Whatever these figures are, one thing is clear: they're deeply unsettling. The strange, almost unnatural way they moved in the footage has left viewers with more questions than answers. Paranormal or not, seeing something like this would give anyone chills. Number 16. Delicious doorbells. You might get a different kind of chill when you see one of the strangest incidents ever caught on camera. Roberto Arroyo made an unusual visit to the Dungan family's home at 2 a.m. But instead of knocking or ringing the doorbell, he spent almost 3 hours licking their intercom system. The Dungans, initially thinking it was their son coming home after a late shift, were shocked when they reviewed the footage. This bizarre act was posted on social media, and the internet quickly dubbed him the doorbell licker. It didn't take long for authorities to identify Roberto. Thanks to the generous amount of DNA he left behind, he was eventually arrested. But the lasting image of him keeping constant eye contact while licking the doorbell left everyone disturbed. Number 15. Shopping center shortcut. When James Kinsella was disturbed in traffic, he took it to a whole nother level. In a bold, reckless move, he rode his motorbike right through a busy shopping center in Bootle, England, dodging pedestrians and alarming shoppers. The scene was like something straight out of an action movie, but this wasn't Hollywood. It was all real. Kinsella's stunt didn't go unnoticed by the law. Soon enough, a police helicopter was in hot pursuit, following him from above as he zipped through the shopping center and back onto the roads. Fortunately, no one was hurt during his reckless joyride, but his thrill-seeking antics didn't end well for him. After being caught, Kinsella was sentenced to 12 months in jail and banned from the roads for 3 years, far from an ordinary sight. Number 14. Invisible Force. Number 14 started as an ordinary evening at a driving school in Malaysia, but what unfolded next was far from normal. A woman was sitting alone in the lounge area, visibly upset after an argument with a man who was seen entering the building with her. Moments after he left, strange and unexplained events began to happen. Suddenly, a chair in the lounge area moved on its own. Confused and scared, she grabbed her phone, trying to call someone for help. But before she could even complete the call, the situation became more terrifying. Without warning, another chair moved on its own and with greater force. This chair was much closer to her, and it positioned itself right in front of her, causing the woman to leap out of her seat in a panic. The tension in the room escalated quickly as more unexplainable things started happening around her. Overwhelmed by fear and helplessness, she was so shocked that she eventually passed out, right there in the lounge. The surveillance footage of this strange encounter has left many people questioning what really happened that night. Number 13. Unbelievable New Year's Eve visitor. New Year's is a time for unbelievable moments to happen. But for reality TV star Danielle Yancey and her husband Bart, something truly unexpected happened. As they celebrated at their home in Alabama, Bart noticed a suspicious figure lingering outside. When he tried to confront the person, they bolted, leaving Bart without a clear look at the intruder. What the security cameras revealed was both bizarre and unsettling. The stranger was wearing nothing but a Ronald Reagan mask and a strategically placed sock, leaving the rest of him completely exposed. The couple was left baffled, and with no real leads, the police have yet to identify this chilly trespasser. To this day, the identity of the masked streaker remains a mystery. Number 12. Unexpected house guest. And this next one sounds right out of a mystery novel. One day, a man started noticing strange things in his house. Food disappearing, objects out of place. Naturally, he assumed it was rodents, or maybe even a raccoon sneaking in. To catch the culprit, he installed security cameras, expecting to see furry little intruders. What the camera revealed, however, was far more shocking. It wasn't a raccoon. It was a woman. The footage showed her crawling out of an air vent, quietly maneuvering through his kitchen in the dead of night. She climbed onto chairs and countertops with such stealth that she was surprisingly quiet. Yet, her silence wasn't perfect. The man woke up, but unaware of what had just occurred, he casually walked into the kitchen for a midnight snack, completely unaware of the fact that an intruder had just been there. The following day, after reviewing the footage, the man immediately contacted the police. Authorities arrived and swiftly removed the woman, leaving behind the unsettling realization that she had been living in his home undetected for who knows how long. Number 11. Tutorial gone wrong. It's extremely unsettling to have something paranormal happen to you while you're teaching a class. And that's exactly what happened to an art instructor in 2011 who decided to film a tutorial for his illustration class. The kitchen provided the perfect setting with extra space to work. While he explained his lesson, something eerie started happening right behind him. A cabinet door began to open, ever so quietly. The man was too focused on teaching to notice, but viewers could see the door inching open slowly in the background. For a while, it seemed harmless, until suddenly the cabinet slammed shut with a loud bang, startling the instructor. His shocked reaction was as real as it gets. He immediately stopped what he was doing, rushed to check inside the cabinets, half expecting to find a rodent or something equally explainable. But there was nothing. The man, now visibly unsettled, quickly reviewed the footage to confirm that what he experienced had been caught on camera. To many who saw the clip, the authenticity of his reaction made it hard to believe the incident was staged. Why would someone fake such a thing during an educational video? The genuine fear on his face convinced many that this was an unexplainable. Number 10. Angel. Many people explain the existence of angels. Some believe, while others remain skeptical. But this CCTV footage might make you question everything. In the footage, something extraordinary was captured. a glowing figure descended from the sky and landed, staying on the ground for a brief moment. What makes this even more fascinating is that the figure seemed to have two large wings and radiated a bright, almost heavenly light, something many describe when imagining an angel. After staying for just a few moments, the mysterious creature flew back into the sky. Soon after, a group of men arrived at the scene, trying to figure out what had just happened. If it weren't for the surveillance footage, no one would have believed this incident. Number 9. Burglary. Just like this strange baby monitor incident, this thief made some strange decisions when breaking in. One night, in a quiet suburban home, the worst nightmare unfolded. A man broke into the house through an unlocked first-floor window. His target wasn't money or jewelry, but rather the baby's room. As the intruder moved through the house, he entered the nursery. Walking right up to the crib, he shined a light on the baby, waking the child, but doing nothing more. He didn't harm the baby and left without taking much, just a laptop. Throughout the break-in, the man seemed aware of the security cameras, constantly glancing at them as if knowing they were recording his every move. What makes this case especially chilling is that the man was never caught, despite his actions being clearly captured on camera. Fortunately, the baby remained unharmed, and the family only suffered minimal theft. But the thought of someone entering their home, standing over their sleeping child, is a memory that will haunt them forever. Number 8. Kitchen nightmares. One YouTuber was haunted in his own home forever, and he had enough. Every time he came home from work, his kitchen was a mess. Furniture moved, objects thrown across the room. At first, he thought it was a robbery, but after several instances with no signs of a break-in, he began to suspect something far more unusual. Determined to get answers, he set up a security camera in his kitchen. What he caught on video wasn't just random disturbances, but something that made him question everything. Cabinets slamming, chairs moving by themselves, and objects being tossed around without anyone in sight. Most people would have run for the hills, but not him. Instead of fleeing, he took a brave and unusual step. He decided to stay and document it. He shared the terrifying footage on his YouTube channel, gaining a following as he continued to capture these eerie events. The poltergeist, as he called it, seemed to grow bolder, and the chaotic disturbances became regular occurrences. He risked his peace of mind, and perhaps even his safety, to provide undeniable proof that something paranormal was at play in his home. Number 7. Elevator ghost. It's even more unsettling when you have to deal with paranormal activity in your own workplace. Two businessmen step into an elevator for what seems like a normal ride. The security camera quietly observes as they chat, waiting for their stop. Everything appears completely ordinary until they exit. As the doors open and the men walk out, something unsettling begins to unfold. Behind one of them, seemingly out of nowhere, an elderly woman appears. The woman is hunched over, barely visible except for the top of her head. What's so bizarre is that the man had been standing, pressed up against the back wall of the elevator. There should have been no room for anyone to stand behind him. Even more disturbing is the fact that there were only 2 people inside when the doors closed. So, where did she come from? There are a few camera glitches, leading some to question whether this might be a clever hoax. However, others believe it might be something paranormal, perhaps a spirit connected to the building, or even to one of the men. Number 6. Busting up a bridge. One man was so connected to a bridge, he could pull off something truly bizarre. With one powerful kick, he knocked over a single concrete column on a bridge, But that wasn't the end of it. His act triggered a jaw-dropping domino effect, causing 215 more columns to collapse and tumble into the river below. The scene was as mesmerizing as it was disastrous, with column after column crashing down. Strangely enough, there's no clear information on whether this masked vandal was ever caught. So, for all we know, this mystery man might still be out there, causing more damage. Thankfully, no one was harmed in the incident, but the construction company involved likely faced a serious headache dealing with the aftermath. It's not every day you see a chain reaction like that, especially one caused by just one swift kick. Before we move on, here's today's subscriber's pick. Elevator cameras typically capture mundane moments. People entering and exiting, pressing buttons, maybe a yawn or two. But sometimes something unbelievable is captured. Some of the most shocking moments caught on camera involve people crossing boundaries that society holds sacred. Sadly, this image highlights one of those moments. It shows a disturbing interaction between a brother and sister. What should have been an ordinary moment between family members turned into something inappropriate and unsettling. The footage reveals the two standing uncomfortably close, with their pants appearing to be pulled down. It's troubling to witness such behavior between siblings, something that most of us would never expect. Though details surrounding this footage are still unclear, the image has sparked a wave of reactions, with people expressing their disbelief and shock at the situation. Do you think there's a sensible explanation to this? Or is it just as disturbing as it looks? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Number 5. Strange disappearance. One night, a security camera recorded something truly bizarre, something that left more questions than answers. The footage shared publicly includes 4 separate camera angles from different rooms. It all seemed normal until, in the top right camera, a sudden flash of light occurs as a man enters the gated area. Immediately after, all the cameras go blank. The footage cuts out for a brief moment, and when it resumes, the man has disappeared. He remains missing for 2 hours. At around 1 in the morning, the same camera picks him up again. He's back, sitting on the ground. The man vomits, his body language reflecting utter confusion. When questioned about the strange event, the man could not recall what had happened. He had no memory of the flash of light, the 2 missing hours, or how he ended up back in front of the camera. A few weeks later, in a curious turn of events, the man left the area and moved far away, never speaking of the incident again. While some experts theorize that the footage might be an elaborate hoax, the nature of the camera glitches suggests otherwise. Many believe the footage to be authentic, further deepening the mystery of what really took place during those lost 2 hours. Number 4. Killer Clown. Killer clowns were not a mystery years ago when they became a widespread phenomenon. Clowns dressed in elaborate, high-quality costumes were spotted lurking around, often caught by surveillance cameras. Their goal? To frighten anyone who crossed their path, and they were more than aware that they were being watched. One particular incident, captured on a homeowner's security camera, featured a large man dressed as a clown, holding 2 balloons. The scene quickly took a darker turn as the clown noticed the camera. Instead of shying away, he approached the porch, calmly picked up a pumpkin that had been set out for decoration and destroyed it with his bare hands. Despite the aggression, the homeowners later said they weren't afraid for their safety, brushing it off as a prank. Still, the footage remains unsettling. Number 3. Ghost in the hotel. Late one night at a hotel, a string of complaints started coming in from guests who were disturbed by loud noises coming from a nearby room. After repeated attempts by hotel management to contact the occupant, they called in a maintenance worker to check it out. Armed with a flashlight, the worker knocked several times before unlocking the door. The room was pitch dark. Shining his light inside, he saw nothing unusual at first and called out to announce his presence. Stepping in, though, the situation took a strange turn. The room was completely empty, but every single piece of furniture had been turned upside down. Shocked by the sight, the worker quickly reported the bizarre scene to management, who advised him to leave immediately while they contacted the police. As he exited the room, what appeared to be a white mist was captured leaving the doorway. Since we can't see inside the room, we can't prove that the furniture was turned upside down. But there's no reason the hotel would fake something like this. The phenomena seems unexplainable. Number 2. Ghost car. A dash cam in Russia captured something completely unexplainable. While driving on a normal road, the car in front of the camera began to make a left turn. All of a sudden, the car slammed on its brakes, narrowly avoiding what seemed like an invisible car that bolted out of nowhere, crossing right in front of it. The so-called ghost car seemingly appeared out of thin air, baffling anyone watching the footage. The footage stirred up multiple theories about what exactly had happened. Some speculate that the ghost car might be a result of a dash cam glitch, but this was quickly dismissed since there were no visual signs of malfunction. The dash cam quality appeared high, and there were no telltale glitches or skips in the footage. Another, more likely explanation is an optical illusion. It's possible that the ghost car had been hidden perfectly behind the turning car, and it wasn't visible to either the driver or the camera until the last second when the car in front hit the brakes. Number 1. Dragged down. A ghost car is one thing, but it's even more scary to have an invisible man stopping you in your tracks. A man walking down a hallway suddenly stopped, as though an invisible force blocked his way. He tried to shake it off, but things got much worse. Standing in front of him was a dark, shadowy figure. Panic set in, and before he could react, the entity shoved him to the ground. As if that wasn't terrifying enough, the figure grabbed his foot and dragged him across the hall, making it look like something straight out of a horror movie. But just when it seemed like the man was in serious danger, the entity let go. He wasted no time, jumping to his feet and sprinting out of the building, clearly shaken by the bizarre experience. If the footage is genuine, it raises serious questions. Could this be proof of a violent spirit? Skeptics, however, have pointed out some oddities. The CCTV footage, for example, appears to have added post effects like a black and white filter. Spirits typically don't appear as dark figures on camera. They're usually lighter, almost transparent. But regardless of the doubts, one thing remains. How could someone fake being dragged by nothing? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.